Hi guys, today I'm going to talk to you a little bit through my ink and tone process. When I draw nature, I usually just make a very rough outline of shapes during the pencil phase, and I render everything during the inking phase. I find that doing it this way helps me save a lot of time in the end. So here I am inking a tree. It's night for this scene, so I just use the standard foliage brush and Clip Studio paint, and I use black ink for this. I am doing this on a separate layer so that it doesn't interfere with my tree trunks should I want to edit them. And then, of course, I can go through and erase everywhere where I don't want the tree splatter that happened. Tree Splatter. It sounds kind of like a indie band song name or something. So to create a little form in this tree, I go back over it with a white foliage brush just to give it a little more 3D shape. So I'm starting to lay in some grass now using the Clip Studio Paint Grass B brush, I believe. I'm starting with black here because naturally under the tree would be in shadow. Next, I start another layer and I use the same grass brush, but I use the two-tone version that'll be like with the black outlines and the white, and I use that behind the black. This will kind of create a little bit of depth there in the grass already, and more depth will be made as I start layering stuff in the front. I'm using the same brush again, the Grass B brush with the two tones. Here I've started putting in the highlight area, which is just the same grass but all white. Then finally here in the foreground, I'm going to use a much larger grass brush and fill in the area. I put a little black behind there just to kind of give it a little more depth feeling. And then clean it up. I decided to make things look a little more random in the foreground, so I went and got a different brush and I started a new layer, and I just added in that it's a grass variant and it has some different shapes in it. So here I've decided to go ahead and start filling in some of the background trees on a separate layer. I start by drawing like the twig shapes, trunk shapes kind of thing. Then I come through with my custom hatching brush for doing kind of like feathery looking trees, and I just kind of hash in the area and add a little bit of hatching down by the grass to kind of look like a shrub, and then I added a couple other shrub details there using some of my custom brushes just to kind of make it look like it's a natural sort of rough environment back there. Really, the reader isn't going to spend too much time looking at that. So here I've gone over to the other side to start rendering the other tree. It's a bit of a further distance away, so I use a slightly smaller brush. Again, I'm using the black ink to just kind of hash in the whole area, and then I go back through with the white ink to just kind of give it some form. Nothing really has changed much by way of technique. So here's where I realized that I kind of wanted to make those trees go up into the other panel, and I just sort of completely forgot about them. So I had to go back and try to render them and make them kind of sort of look like they were a contiguous tree. I'd also like to mention that I do use the calligraphy pen to just kind of make some extra leaf shapes around the end to just kind of tweak my tree silhouettes there, you know, because I'm super fussy. So now with those trees out of the way, I can come down here and finish up the grass area like I had originally wanted to. Okay, so I'm going to be using a slightly different technique on the grass over here. I lay out the black areas first, and then I am going to start going over them with the two-tone grass brush there. Then again over with the white. I decided maybe it was a touch too dark, so I filled in with a lot of white, and then I'm going to go through and kind of add some custom grassy hash marks just to kind of make it apparent that this side of the grass is over like a sidewalk area. And then I added some hashing to kind of indicate a little bit of shape in that white area. And then again in the foreground, I started making it a little more detailed and larger brushes too. So here we are. We finally made it to the third panel. And this is just some really basic inking by my standards. The cat is all intended to be a silhouette, and the cricket is also going to be mostly a silhouette. There's going to be more features because it's going to be in the main light shaft that we're going to see here. I start adding a little more detailing here to give it a little more interest, so it's not just these giant leaf-like shapes. Add a little twig with some berries on it, that kind of thing. You know, anything to create a little bit of visual interest. So for my little cricket friend here, I decided to look up a little reference just to make sure that I was kind of on the right track with the cricket. Also, I kind of wanted to see what sort of shadowing there was on a cricket in general. For the cricket, I didn't want to use any screen tones on it, so I started out with the intent of completely shading it with the inks. So here we are, about ready for the final panel. So exciting. Okay, so I confess I totally cheated. I copied this cricket, yes I did, and I pasted it into the panel below because I did not want to draw it again. And I also resized it to make it into better scale. Then I go back up to the previous panel and I add a little more detailing there. More of those swanky visual interest details, and now we're back down to the final panel! Can you tell I've gotten punchy? Yeah, I've gotten punchy because I've been doing this video editing for like, oh, I don't know, the past 2 hours, and I actually did this comic page like almost a month ago, and it's just been sitting in my buffer waiting to be posted, and I'm pretty positive that it's going to post this week on Wednesday, which is why I'm doing the video now. Anyway, my idea for this panel was to, you know, have the cat silhouette with the big glowing eyes that you couldn't even see any details inside the eyes, that kind of thing. So everything is going to be here in silhouette, and I'm also going to hash in most of the cat because I don't really want to use much tone on this panel, at least not for shading the cat, because I'm going to come through later and I'm going to accentuate the light with some high contrast tones and kind of make the light area is going to focus on the cricket, and it's going to kind of make it pretty interesting. And the video for the tone process is a comin', but probably not today because I gotta finish this one first. And what do you guys think of my comedy? And here we have it, the complete inked page. Ta-da! So, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you found this informative, and thank you for putting up with my horrible jokes. And if you don't know about my webcomic, it's called Find Sometimes Rain, and you can visit it at findsometimesrain.gankygirl.com, and I hope you'll give it a try. Thanks for watching, and the tone video is coming soon.